Welcome to this webinar on calculating meal costs and completing the 5-day non-program food revenue tool. In this webinar, we'll be discussing completing the 5-day non-program food revenue tool. We have two tools available, the 5-day and an extended tool. If you would like to learn more about completing the extended tool, we have a separate webinar on how to do that. In the 5-day non-program food revenue tool, there is a tab for each type of non-program food, and you'll complete those tabs. And then on the last tab, it looks like the extended tool or the USDA tool that you might have completed previously, and it pulls all the information from the other tabs into that tab and calculates that non-program revenue calculator for you. This is the information you'll need to gather before completing your 5-day non-program food revenue tool. First, you'll need the cost of all your meals for 5 days. So your breakfast, your lunch, and that includes the cost for students as well as for adults. And this is just food costs. We don't include labor, we don't include supplies, just the food costs for those 5 days of meals. The next is you'll need to get the prices charged for your students and the adults. Then you'll also need the student meal counts for 5 days by eligibility status, so how many free, reduced, and paid ate each meal each day. Then you'll need your adult meal counts, how many adults ate breakfast and lunch each day. Then you'll need the cost of each a la carte and food service vending machine item sold. Then also you'll need to get the number of each a la carte and food service vending machine item sold and the price you charge for those a la carte and vending machine items. And then lastly, you'll need your reimbursement rates. So to start off, before we complete the tool, we'll talk about calculating the cost of a meal, since that's a large piece of information that's needed before you complete the tool. This shows a menu for one day and looking at the costs of each serving of each item. So for example, K through 8, the chicken nuggets cost 39 cents, the baby carrots cost 45 cents, the apple 47 cents. They didn't have the muffin, but they had 35 cents for the milk. So you'll just add up the cost, the food cost for each of these components of the meal and add them together to get your cost per serving. So in this example, we have a different cost for K through 8, 9 through 12, and the adults. So we'll go over a more specific example on calculating costs now. In this menu, we served a hamburger patty, a bun, an apple, green beans, and milk. When you calculate your costs, you'll take the cost of the case and divide it by the number of servings in each case, and that will give you the cost per serving for each item. So for the hamburger patty, the case of 100 costs $30. So we take $30 divided by 100 patties, so we know each patty cost us 30 cents. For the buns, a pack of 12 buns costs us $1.20. So we take $1.20 divided by 12 buns, lets us know that it's 10 cents per bun. Then for the apple, a case of 100 apples costs $40. So $40 divided by 100 apples means it costs 40 cents per apple. The green beans are a little different because we know one number 10 can has 12 cups of green beans and that can costs $6. So first we need to figure out how much it costs per cup. So we take $6 divided by 12 cups of green beans gives us 50 cents per cup of green beans. However, in this menu, we only served 3/4 of a cup. So we take that 50 cents per cup times by 3/4 of a cup, and that gives us $0.375, so 37.5 cents per 3/4 cup serving of green beans. Then the milk is easy because we know we're getting charged 35 cents per carton. So we know each of the serving costs, so we just add those up. So 30 cents plus 10 cents, 40 cents, 37.5 cents, and 35 cents gives us $1.52.5 for this meal, for the cost of this meal. So you'll go ahead and figure out the cost of your meals for 5 days. So 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches. If you're serving an extensive menu, you can either take an average of those days or you can use your most popular item as an example for this tool. So then we'll go ahead and start completing the 5-day tool. There are different tabs at the bottom, and the first tab we'll complete is the Adult Meals tab. On this tab, you'll first enter the food cost per tray for each adult meal offered during the 5-day period. So you'll enter a line for Monday breakfast, Tuesday breakfast, Wednesday breakfast, Thursday breakfast, Friday breakfast, and then again for Monday lunch, Tuesday lunch, and so on. Then in this column here, you'll enter the number of meals that were sold each day. So for Monday breakfast, how many adults bought a meal, and enter that there. Then Tuesday breakfast, how many adults, and so on. Then you'll enter the price you charge for each meal. So how much are you charging for an adult breakfast? How much are you charging for an adult lunch? The next tab is the a la carte tab. On the a la carte tab, in the first column, you'll just enter the name of what a la carte items you're selling. This is where you'll include your extra milks, your second entrees, second sides, and all other a la carte. So you might list chips, cookies, whatever else you're serving a la carte. Then enter the food cost for each a la carte item. So your extra milk, what is its cost? What is the cost of the second entree or your chips, your other a la carte items? Then enter the number of each a la carte item that was sold during your 5-day period. And then enter the price that you charge for each of those items. So what are you charging the students for the extra milk or the second entree or the a la carte items? The next tab is the Vending Machines tab. This is only for vending machines that the food service account has purchased the food that's going in them. So if some other department is operating the vending machines, then do not include that here. This is only if the food service is operating that vending machine. And the vending machine tab looks exactly like the a la carte tab. So the first column, you enter in what item it is, so water or a soda, or chips or cookies or whatever you're selling in the vending machine. The next is the food cost for each of those items. The next column, you enter how many of each of those you sold, and the fourth column is entering in the price you charged for each of those. The next tab is the Catered and Vended tab. So this is optional for the 5-day tool. If you're just doing a 5-day period, you're not required to include catering and vended meals in this tool. So most of the time, I would recommend not completing this, but if you're doing a lot of catering, it could help you in being in compliance. So for catering, you'll enter in the total cost of each catered event and enter the revenue from each event. Then if you're doing vended meals, you'll enter in the food cost, the number of each meal sold, and the price that you're charging. And then this is if you're purchasing for other entities. So maybe you're purchasing hamburgers to sell at a ball game. If you're purchasing for them, then you'll enter that here, which items you purchased, the food cost of each item, and the number of each item sold, and what you charged for that item. Again, you do not have to complete this tab for the 5-day period. In that case, we would just need to make sure that you are recovering the cost of either the catered meals, the vended meals, or if you're purchasing for other entities, that you're recovering that cost. The next tab is the Program Food Cost tab. This is where you'll enter in your reimbursable meals. And this is the first column. You'll enter in the cost per meal. So there are 10 lines for lunches. So the idea is 5 lines for K through 8 and 5 lines for 9 through 12, since those do not have overlapping meal patterns. Again, if you're selling multiple options in each of those menus, you can either average those out or you can choose the most popular menu choice for each day. So you'll enter in Monday lunch, Monday lunch option 2, Tuesday lunch, Wednesday lunch, Thursday and Friday lunch. Then you'll enter the number of each of those meals served. For breakfast, there are just 5 lines. You'll do Monday breakfast, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday breakfast. And then enter the number of each of those meals served. This is for the after-school snack program for a reimbursable snack. So if you're claiming reimbursement for your snacks, that goes here. And you'll enter in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just like you did on breakfast and lunch, and then enter the number you sold. This student milk is for special milk program only. So those are the reimbursable milks from special milk program. This is not your a la carte milks. Those go under the a la carte tab. So you'll enter in the cost of the milk and how many you sold. Then the next tab you need to complete is the Program Food Revenue tab. First, you'll enter in your reimbursement rates, and you can find that on your claim if you're not sure what your reimbursement rates are for full, reduced, and free. Then you'll enter the amount you charge to the students. So how much do you charge your full and reduced price? Remember, for lunch, the maximum you can charge for reduced is 40 cents. And there are 3 sections here. So if you're charging a different price point at your different schools, you can enter those on separate lines. So if my high school is getting charged a higher price, I'll put it in one section, and then middle school can go in the other section, and then elementary in another section if you have 3 different price points. And then you'll enter the number of lunches served at each price point for each eligibility status. So here, if I put high school price here, then I'll put how many high school full price, 8, how many reduced, and how many free middle school and elementary school. And then you'll do the same thing for breakfast. So you'll enter in your reimbursement rates. Then you'll enter in the price you're charging. Remember, for reduced, the maximum you can charge at breakfast is 30 cents. And then you'll enter in the number of meals served. And then you'll do the same thing for after-school snack. Your reimbursement rates, the pricing you're charged to the students, and then the number of snacks you served. And then if you have special milk, same thing. Reimbursement rates, price charged to students, and the number of milks served. Then the last tab is the non-program revenue calculator tab. You don't actually enter in any information here. All the information that you entered into the other tabs will automatically pull into this tab. So this is what it looks like. And what you're really looking for is this bottom line, because this is where you'll have your results. This is the additional revenue needed to comply. So if there is a number here, that means you need to increase your a la carte or your other non-program foods, or you need to use non-federal funds to be transferred to the food service account. Now keep in mind, since this is the 5-day tool, we completed this for a 5-day period. So if there's an additional revenue needed to comply, that's the amount that you would need to generate for a 5-day period, or if you're transferring funds, that's how much you would transfer every 5 days. So keep that in mind. It wouldn't be for the year, it would be for 5 days, so you'll have to multiply that out by how many days you have in the year. So now I'll go ahead and open up an example district and we'll complete a non-program 5-day tool. So here's an example of the non-program tool, the 5-day tool. You can see at the bottom I have multiple tabs that I'll enter information into. And then the last tab will give me the results. So over on the left of the screen I have some numbers from an example district, so we'll use these numbers to complete this tool. So I already started filling out for you. So this is the adult meals tab. So the first thing we'll enter is the cost of the meals. So over here I have adult breakfasts are $1.29, $1.35, $1.44, $1.60, and $1.53. You can see I already started entering these in, so I'll just have to enter in the cost of the breakfast on Friday was $1.53. Then in this column I put the number of meals sold. So in this example district I had 31 breakfasts sold on Friday. And then the breakfast price for adults at this district is $2.10. So I'll enter it there. And this next lines I put in my lunch costs. So over here I have $2.23, $2.12, $1.83, $2.26, and $2.57. So I'll go ahead and put those all in here. And all I have left is Friday, so it was $2.57. Then here, the number I sold on Friday, I sold 63, and the lunch price for adults is $3.65. So that is how you complete the adult meals tab. So we'll move on to the next tabs. This is the vending machine tab. In this example district, I don't have any vending machines for food service, so I'll leave this blank in this example. This is the catered tab. In this district, we may have catering, but we're not going to include it in this tab. Remember, catering is optional for a 5-day period, so for this district, I'm not going to include it. Then this is the a la carte tab. In this district, over here is what I have listed that the district is selling for a la carte. So in the first column, we enter in the name of the items that are being sold. So we have chips, water, and then we have a whole grain cookie. So I'll add in that whole grain cookie. Then the next column, we enter in the cost per serving. So the whole grain cookie is 63 cents a serving. And then we enter in how many were sold. So we sold 30 cookies in that 5-day period at this district. And then last, we put the sale price. So we have the sale price. We're selling those cookies for $1.50. So that's all we have to do to complete the a la carte tab. The next tab is the Program Food Cost tab. So in this tab, we enter in the cost of the reimbursable meals. So in this example, I have a high school and an elementary school with different costs for lunch. So we see we started out with the high school. We have $2.13, $1.85, $1.72, $2.06, and then Friday we had $2.57. So I'll go ahead and enter that here. And then if I keep going, this has my elementary lunch costs. So I have $2.08, $1.75, $1.63, $2, and then $2.46 on Friday. So I'll enter that $2.46 for Friday. And then I'll enter the number of meals served. So at the high school, these are the number of meals served. That Friday we had 513. And then at the elementary, this is the number of meals we had served. On Friday is 1026. Then you can see at the high school and at the elementary school, we had the same cost for breakfast. We're serving an overlapping meal pattern for them. So those are entered here. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'll enter Friday. Cost of breakfast was $1.53. And then the number of meals served at breakfast, I have to add the high school plus the elementary, since we just have those 5 lines for breakfast. So we'll add 133 for high school and 266 for breakfast. So that gives us a total of $3.99 breakfast served on Friday. At this school, we didn't have any after-school snack and we didn't have any special milk program, so those will be left blank for this example. So the last tab we need to complete is the Program Food Revenue tab. In this example district, our reimbursement rates are over here for breakfast and here for lunch. So we're starting out with lunch, and we have 2 different price points. So high school is charged $2.90 for lunch, so I'll put the high school reimbursement rates here and the elementary here, and they're getting the same reimbursement rates at both schools. So I'll put full is 39 cents, reduced is $2.99, and free is $3.39. Then we'll enter the price charged to the students. So at high school, they were getting charged $2.90, and that elementary school is $2.60. And the reduced students at the elementary school was 40 cents. Then I'll enter the number of meals served during that 5-day period. So at high school, I had $12.19 paid, $4.06 reduced, and then I had $10.85 free. So I'll enter that free number here. Then at elementary, I had $21.67 full, so I'll enter that here. $5.42 reduced and $27.08 paid. Then I'll enter this information for breakfast. We have different rates we're charging the students at high school and elementary, so I entered those separately, and then the reimbursement rates are the same for both schools. So 31 cents, $1.84, and $2.14. So all I have left to enter is my meal counts. So at the high school, I had 301 paid, 134 reduced, and 232 free. So I'll enter that there. And then at the elementary, I had 534 paid, so enter that. And then 133 reduced and 667 free. So that's the last tab we need to complete. We don't have after-school snack at this district, and we don't have special milk at this district. So we are done. So we'll go to the last tab on the tool to find our results. So these numbers pulled in from all the tabs that we completed, And then the last line here, this additional revenue needed to comply, is what I'm looking for to see what my results are. So I have no number in here, so that means I'm in compliance. I do not need to increase my prices. If I had a number in there, then that would mean I would need to increase my prices or transfer non-federal funds. And this is the amount that would be transferred for every 5 days, so it would need to be multiplied out by the days in the school year. Okay, just for an example, I want to show you what it will look like if there's additional revenue needed to comply. So I'm going to go back to that a la carte tab and change my prices there. So here, this is telling me that we have additional revenue needed to comply. So I would need to increase my prices. And the nice thing with this 5-day tool is I can test it out. So I can go back to my a la carte tab and say, what if I charged 50 cents for each of these? Does that get me in compliance? So I'll go back to this last tab and say, oh yes, 50 cents got me into compliance. So I could be charging less and still be in compliance with the non-program food revenue. So that concludes the webinar on completing the 5-day non-program food revenue tool. If you have any questions on how to complete this, you can contact your nutrition program specialist, or you can contact me with any questions.